So over the past 3 years, I've been helping people in Sweden find jobs through coaching and building digital products that help people in the job hunt, like understanding the job market and understanding what they can do to improve their chances and ultimately finding a job. We've been doing this through like education programs and various community initiatives. And in my work, I've been talking with a lot of job seekers, like probably thousands. And one thing that I have seen is like the impression that I get of a person whenever I'm talking with the person on text, and the impression I get of the person when I talk to them on like a video call or meet them is quite different. It's like, you know, when you chat with a person or like whenever you see a person's CV, you get a very formal impression of that person. And like, you know, the nature of the CV is just like you will see a lot of facts, but a lot of people will not have like what really drives them in their CV. And what I've been doing then is to like, in order to understand people that are looking for a job and like what really motivates them and like, you know, what kind of products they could potentially need, by asking about the problems of the job hunt. It's like I usually set up a video call, and there's one question that I think really opens up that conversation between, you know, both in kind of the user research relationship, but also whenever you do a job interview. And that is the question: can you tell me about the last time you felt motivated, you know, doing something? Like, can you tell me the last time you felt motivated at work? Or can you tell me the last time you felt motivated finding a job? Because like, whenever you ask that question, people will be going back to a specific event that they can describe for you. And that's very important. Like, there's a user researcher called Tomer Sharon from Google, and he's been writing a book about lean user research, and he says that we should always ask for specifics, not general. Like, we shouldn't ask like, when are you motivated? Because people are not as good as giving that like general answer about themselves in person. They're better at answering specific questions about their behavior. So I think the problem is like, whenever I see these chat messages or like whenever I see this CV, I get a view of this person that is more like factual, and I don't really understand what drives them. And then I look at the statistics. I look at the macro statistics for Sweden, and a lot of companies say they have a hard time finding the right people for their company. And they're like, you know, the absolutely most common reason for that is like not being able to find people with the right skills. But then if you look at the soft skills, they say that they cannot find people with the right attitude and engagement. And this to me is like a huge warning sign. It's like, it's something that I think is very easy to, end up in that situation, like the way that recruitment is structured today. Like, people are sending in their CV, which is basically, you know, just stats. And then they come to a job interview, and the person in the job interview will be like, you know, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? When are you motivated? And like, we don't come to the core of what really drives this person. So I think that a part of this engagement, like the lack of engagement that companies believe is there, is just an illusion. It's like, it's an illusion that are created because of the way that we have structured this process. Like, we're looking too much on the facts and not asking these important questions like, can you tell me about the last time you felt motivated? Because the thing is that motivation is contextual. It's like, you are not as motivated to pay your bills the first day it arrives in your mailbox as you are on the due date of the bill, right? It's like the activities that we do are what motivates us. Like when we're at work, it's not like we're in this like completely motivated mode all the time. It's several factors that contribute to the motivation. So a person might be super motivated, like, I don't know, gaming on their computer, but not motivated to work for you. And maybe that's just because like they haven't seen the reasons for working for you. And like a lot of people say that like the millennial generation is like spoiled and that they're looking too much for the impact and all that. But let's just take that for a fact right now, that people have kind of left the state where a job is only like transacting time for money, and then all fulfillment that you have as a like human being is done outside of work. I think that's that thought we have to kind of leave behind, and we have to think about what really motivates people, and are we offering those things? So in this week I want to talk about this like motivation, attitude, engagement issue, and I want to give you some tips on how to improve the recruitment process with factors beyond just money, like beyond just like taking money and putting them on the table and say like, if you come here and with your time we will give you this money. Like, putting that aside, what else can you offer people? And I want to just like shortly talk about like why I think my experience here can kind of come into play. I mean, I've been kind of bootstrapping my startup for 3 years, meaning I haven't had a lot of money to put on the table. So to find users, to find people to work with, something else had to be offered. And it's like, it's a better relationship to have with people, to think about like, what can I offer other people, you know, with these like inner motivating values. And there's a lot of research showing that that's how people want to be motivated too. So throughout this week I want to kind of talk about this issue of like attitude, engagement, motivation, and how you can kind of optimize for that whenever you're recruiting. So if you find this interesting, please hit subscribe or comment below with any questions you have.